Top 11 causes of global poverty. First one is the inequality and marginalizations. Inequality is an easy but sometimes misleading term used to describe the systemic barriers leaving groups of people without a voice or representations within their communities. For populations to escape poverty, all groups must be involved in the decision-making process. And the second one is the conflict. Conflict is one of the most common forms of which driving poverty today. Large-scale protracted violence that we've seen in areas like Syria can grant society to halt. Women also bear the brunt of conflict, which adds a layer inequality to all conflict. And because women often have difficulty getting well-paying work and are excluded from community decision making, their families are particularly vulnerable. And the third one is the hunger, malnutrition, and stunting. The first 1,000 days of child's life are key to ensuring their future's health and likelihood of staying out of poverty. If a mother is malnourished during pregnancy, that can be passed on to her children. Child stunting, both physical and cognitive, can lead to a lifetime of impact. And the fourth one is the poor healthcare systems, especially for mothers and children. For some women, pregnancy and childbirth can be a death sentence. In many of the countries where concerned works, access to quality maternal health care is poor. Pregnant and lactating mothers face a multitude of barriers when seeking care. And the fifth one is the little or no access to clean water, sanitation, and hygiene. More than 2 billion people in the world doesn't have access to clean water at home. This means that people spend some 20 million hours every day walking long distance to fetch water. Sixth one is the climate change. Many of the world's poorest populations rely on farming or hunting and gathering to eat and earn a living. They often have only just enough food and assets to last through the next seasons and not enough reserves to fall back into the event of the full harvest. And the seventh one is the lack of education. Education is often referred to as the greater equalizers because it can open the door to jobs and other resources. And the eighth one is the poor public works and infrastructure. Isolation limits opportunities. Lack of infrastructure, from road, bridge, and wheels to cables for lights, cell phones, and internet, can isolate communities living in rural areas. Living off the grid often means living without the ability to go to school, work, or the market to buy and sell goods. Traveling farther distance to access basic service not only takes time, it costs money, keeping families in poverty. And the ninth one is the lack of government support. Ineffective governments also contribute to several of the other causes of extreme poverty mentioned above, as they are unable to provide necessary infrastructure or health care for their citizens. Many people living in the United States are familiar with social welfare programs that people can access if they need healthcare or food assistance, but not every government can provide this type of help to its citizens, and without that safety net, there's nothing to stop vulnerable families from backsliding farther into extreme poverty. Number 10. Lack of jobs or livelihoods. Dwindling access to productive land, often due to conflict, overpopulations, or climate change, and over-exploitations of resources like fish or minerals puts increasing pressures on many traditional livelihoods. And the last one is which is number 11, lack of reserves. Cash savings and loans can offset unemployment due to conflict or illness. Proper food storage systems can help if a drought or natural disasters ruin a harvest. People living in extreme poverty usually don't have these means available.